Hey everybody, I have a video here for you today, and what made me think about this was I received a message from an author, and I want to thank that person for sending me that message. It made me think of a site here in a video that I wanted to do months ago, and this is just bringing up a possibility that the chronological dating of some of these buildings in Egypt is incorrect, and this is just a hunch, gut feeling, my intuition. I trust it, but let's back out here. Let's get oriented. Here are the Great Pyramids of Giza, Sphinx up here. We're going about 6 miles to the south and east. If I can do this the correct way here. But this is what was called a pyramid by many historians up until reconstruction of what this site actually was. And this is just a little bit north of the pyramids of Abu Sir, which are right down here. And this site is called Abu Gurob. And I'm sure some of you have seen videos by Brian Forster, maybe Carmen Bolter in the Pyramid Code, I believe, has done a video here. But do we have the correct dating and attribution to who built this originally? Well, I think those are great questions to be asked. Now, first thing you will notice about this building here, it is perfectly oriented north, south, east, west, with this lined up perfectly to the rising sun on the spring equinox. And let's just go over and do a little reading of what the standard model history tells us here. First of all, this comes from a book written by Gaston Niuserre, I believe that is the name, written in 1914, where he has a reconstruction of this temple. And other reconstruction efforts, digital and otherwise, have all shown this to be the original form of the building. There was a giant obelisk with what we would call maybe a ben stone on top of it, a slanted causeway coming out to what looks like a harbor here, right down into the water, suggesting to me that this could have been built when the Nile was right up to the western bank of this temple here. And this just reminds me of what I showed in the Sphinx cover-up video of what the Sphinx temple stairs look like going down into the Sphinx temple. That's just what that reminds me of. I just wanted to say that. But let's just read about this place here. And if I can jump to the right site, it says, many of the sun kings of the 5th dynasty of ancient Egypt built solar temples at Abu Gurob. The solar temples of Niuserre was not the first to be built here, but is the most impressive. And he named it Sheshupu Ibire, the delight of Ra, and please forgive my pronunciation. It was composed of a valley temple at the edge of Abu Sir Lake, which was linked by a causeway to the main temple. And that's all very interesting. Now, I just want to go over to this website and just read here. And these sun temples were legendary, coming from Memphite kings, and the Memphite kings are very ancient. And it says here, an interesting note should be made at this point. Some Egyptologists now believe that other lost temples may have never existed. Rather, they speculate that the kings who added and built on the 2 known temples may have in effect usurped them, providing the temples with new names after their improvements. So it's suggested, even by Egyptologists, that these temples were possibly just, fixed up by later kings. And the one who is associated with this is an early 5th dynasty king. Now, if this is perfectly aligned, north, east, southwest, and this is perfectly facing the spring equinox sunrise on March 21st, the Sun Temple, which people have shown it to look very interesting here. This is another reconstruction of it. This would have been right out in front, and this would have been perfectly aligned to the spring equinox sunrise on March 21st. And you can see how this is built, and I believe this in the center here, this could have just have been a giant timekeeping dial of sort. If this is perfectly aligned, this place, you would have perfect astronomical readings. Maybe something was here to begin with, I think this is fascinating, and if a king of the 5th dynasty just added to this place is very, very ancient. And if it was built right on the bank of the Nile, it's possible that the original foundations of this place are as old as the Great Pyramid. And it just looks a lot like maybe what was down at the Sphinx Temple. There was a main temple, a causeway, and a valley temple. That's the same as up at the Great Pyramid. And this Benben stone on top, you would have the same sun alignments shining on the top of this pyramidal stone, on the top of this obelisk, as you would up at the pyramids of Giza, because this is perfectly aligned north, south, east, west. So people are calling the Great Pyramid a tomb. Why do you have the same figuration at the top of this place and you call it a sun temple? I just wanted to bring you a little bit of this history of this place. I think this is fascinating. I think historians may have gotten this place wrong. If later kings in the 5th dynasty were possibly building on top of something that was already here, something that is perfectly aligned to the cardinal points, I think we have a suggestion of a much earlier place to begin with, an original site here that could have been one of the original pyramids or sites built here in this pyramid field stretching from Saqqara up to Abu Ruwash, just north of the Great Pyramids here. Hope you thought this was interesting, and you all have a very nice day.